Imagine dozens of high-speed objects, all with incredible momentum, moving in completely different directions. Instead of a smooth current, you get constant, chaotic collisions. That is exactly what happens inside an organization when talented individuals operate without alignment. You see it in endless meetings, departments duplicating work in silos, and conflict avoided until it's personal. When leaders see these symptoms, they usually make a predictable diagnosis. They assume someone needs to be fired, or they completely rewrite the organizational chart. But replacing staff and restructuring departments triggers massive turnover and retraining expenses. Worse, it rarely solves the actual communication breakdown that caused the friction in the first place. You end up caught in a frustrating paradox. You are paying top-tier salaries for brilliant, hardworking people, yet you are still suffering from stalled decision-making and mediocre output. If you have smart people but a team that underperforms, hiring better people isn't the answer. The issue is rarely a lack of talent. It is a lack of alignment. Putting highly skilled individuals in the same room doesn't automatically yield a high-performing team. Getting them to execute together requires deliberately managing how they interact. Take this quadrant chart, plotting individual talent on the horizontal axis and team output on the vertical. The most frustrating position is the bottom right, high talent, low collective output. Here, brilliant people work in isolation, optimizing for departmental goals, scattering their collective energy. To pull your team out of this quadrant, you have to change your operational approach. You have to stop managing people as isolated units and start managing the system of interactions between them. This requires a strict trade-off. Executives have to pull their focus away from individual performance metrics and do the harder work of enforcing team-wide accountability. Ignoring how your talent works together is a compounding financial drain. Every unresolved conflict and duplicated effort costs more as your team expands and the complexity increases. This is where a team coach becomes highly relevant. A professional team coach is an operational diagnostic tool designed to expose hidden organizational friction. To fix friction, we map symptoms to root causes. This flowchart starts with endless meetings. It branches into two causes: poor individual skill or siloed communication. Poor skill requires process training, but siloed communication requires a team coach. In the room, a team coach forces the group to confront avoided conflicts. They provide an outside perspective to surface the exact issues everyone knows exists, but nobody is willing to address. There is an uncomfortable trade-off here. The team must endure short-term vulnerability and emotional friction to build genuine, long-term psychological safety. A coach unblocks stalled workflows so the team can trust each other, execute, and make much faster decisions. Executives are often skeptical of this process, viewing team coaching as an expensive, unquantifiable HR exercise. Data shows clear business returns. This International Coaching Federation chart shows a 72. Achieving this ROI comes with a logistical trade-off. Leaders must pull their teams away from daily firefighting and dedicate real, uninterrupted time to the meta work of team building. You have to view team coaching as a rigorous operational investment. You are trading temporary downtime now for permanently elevated, sustainable output later. Sourcing the right coach is a major logistical hurdle. A team coach will only be effective if their experience aligns perfectly with your team's specific size, culture, and growth stage. Relying on a standard internet search is a massive risk. You can easily waste budget on a coach hired simply for their search engine ranking rather than their actual operational fit for your specific challenges. This is where Noomii's matching technology provides a structural advantage. They have built a curated network of over 34,000 professional coaches across 50 countries as a direct alternative to blind searching. Using their SmartMatch process, Noomii analyzes your team's specific symptoms and goals. Then, they deliver a highly focused shortlist of up to 5 relevant team coaches who actually fit your needs. While Noomii saves you weeks of risky sourcing, leadership must still do some work. You have to invest the time to interview those final 5 candidates to ensure there is undeniable personal chemistry and respect. Let's look at exactly how a team coach applies to different organizational profiles and the specific return on investment each one should expect. We can map these scenarios using this comparison matrix, broken down into 3 main profiles: scaling startups, corporate cross-functional teams, and toxic or broken teams. First, look at the specific challenges faced by high-growth founders and startup leadership teams. In a startup scenario, pulling founders away from product building for a few hours a week to establish rules for productive conflict is essential. It prevents the kind of deep-seated culture debt that stalls growth and leads to wasted effort later. Now, consider managers handling established corporate departments or newly integrated cross-functional teams. In this corporate scenario, a coach forces the team to clarify fuzzy accountability. Managers have to relinquish some central control, allowing the team to build its own reliable decision-making framework. Finally, we need a reality check regarding teams struggling with incompetent or abusive leaders. In a toxic scenario, a coach will clearly expose the root cause, but they cannot force a bad leader to change. The main return on investment here might simply be proving to management that the leader actually needs to be replaced. The effectiveness of a coach depends entirely on accurately diagnosing your team's specific flavor of dysfunction before you begin. High-performing, aligned teams do not happen by accident. They are built intentionally through structured systems, not through lucky personal chemistry. Your quiz results and the Noomii SmartMatch recommendations are your critical first step in defining exactly what structural needs your team has right now. You have to make a choice. You can continue paying the compounding hidden costs of poor alignment, or you can step back, endure the temporary friction of change, and invest heavily in your team's collective ability to execute.